Hello everyone, today we're going to be continuing the reading of Maryellen Larkin's first book called The One and Only by Valerie Tripp. Chapter 10. Christmas is on its way. Hooray! It was several weeks later when Maryellen climbed up onto the workbench in the carport and sang to Scooter, "On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree." Even though it was a hot, sunny afternoon, Maryellen could feel the shivery excitement of Christmas beginning. It seemed to her that right after Thanksgiving, the whole world's heart had started to beat a little faster, and there was a sparky feeling of happy anticipation in the air. Already the stores were bright with lights and merry with the sound of Christmas music. Magazines were fat with photos of luscious Christmas dinners and living rooms beautifully decorated with candles and holly. Every day, the mail brought Christmas cards with glittery illustrations of old-fashioned sleighs dashing through the snow. TV commercials showed happy families shopping, their arms full of wrapped presents, or later, opening the presents under the piney, shiny Christmas tree. Maryellen studied every picture and every detail and took it all to heart. She imagined herself in every TV show, every commercial, and every movie about Christmas as if it were her own life. As she moved boxes on the shelves above the workbench, she sang, "On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me." "Ellie Kelly," Joanne interrupted. "Are you singing a Christmas song already?" Joanne was strolling up the driveway with an armload of books on her way back from a study date with her true love, Jerry. She leaned against the workbench and smiled at Maryellen. "Isn't it a bit early?" "No," Maryellen said happily. "It's December at last. Christmas is on its way." There was no question about it. Christmas was Maryellen's absolute favorite time of year. Surprises, presents, decorations, Grandmom and Grandpa visiting, wishes coming true. That's what Christmas was. Maryellen thought about Christmas and planned for it and looked forward to it all year long. She put 5 cents of her allowance aside every single week in the Christmas club at the bank for Christmas shopping. She kept a list of gifts for her family and added to it whenever she had an idea, even in the summer. As soon as the winter edition of the Sears Roebuck catalog came, she went through it page by page with Beverly, Tom, and Mikey and helped them choose what they wanted. Then she helped them write their letters to Santa. Maryellen said to Joanne, "Mom said we could start to put up our Christmas decorations tonight when Dad gets home from work." She pulled a box labeled Christmas off the top shelf. "Can you help me take the boxes inside?" "Sure," said Joanne. She put her books down and peered into the box that Maryellen handed to her. "Oh, look! Here are the paper snowflakes we made for the tree last year." Joanne shook the box a little, and jingle bells rang, which made Scooter tilt his head and lift his ears. "The jingle bells are in the box, too." "Jingle bells remind me of wedding bells," said Maryellen. She grinned at Joanne. "Christmas is romantic. Wouldn't it be wonderful if Jerry gave you an engagement ring for Christmas?" "Well, yes," said Joanne. Then she laughed. "Anyway, I'd rather get a ring than a partridge in a pear tree." Maryellen described the scene the way she had seen it in movies. "You'll be in front of the Christmas tree, just the two of you. There'll be candlelight and Christmas music playing in the background. You're wearing a beautiful evening gown, like the one Rosemary Clooney wore in White Christmas. Jerry will get down on bended knee and hold up a little box with a diamond ring in it and say—" "Whoa," Joanne interrupted. "Hold your horses, Ellie Nellie. You're letting your imagination run away with you. It's Jerry's decision whether he's going to propose or not." "I know," said Maryellen. "It's just that I love Christmas so much, and if you and Jerry got engaged, well, it would make Christmas perfect." "I love Christmas too," said Joanne with a smile. "So let's take these boxes inside." Okay, said Maryellen. She looked inside the biggest box. This box has our Christmas tree in it. Instead of a real tree, the Larkins put up an artificial tree with wire branches and pink plastic needles. The tree was 6 feet tall and was permanently attached to its white wooden base. As Maryellen looked at the tree, she had the most unexpected reaction. Almost before, she had been excited about the tree and had thought it was very pretty. But now, rather than the happy thrill that she expected, she felt, there was no denying it, a teeny tiny twinge of disappointment. For one thing, no one on TV or in the movies ever got engaged in front of a pink plastic tree. Joanne, she began slowly. It was in Maryellen's mind to ask Joanne if she was ever sorry that their family didn't have a tree like the ones in all the movies, TV shows, and magazine photos, a traditional deep green pine tree that was real. But she stopped herself before she asked the question out loud. What? Joanne asked. Nothing, said Maryellen quickly. How disloyal of her to be disappointed in her family's tree. How un-Christmassy to be critical. Come on, then, Ellie Belly, said Joanne. Time to get Christmas going. Right, said Maryellen. Joanne helped her lower the Christmas tree box to the floor, and then Maryellen climbed down from the workbench, stepping over Scooter. She put her fleeting feeling of disappointment behind her as solidly as she put her 2 feet on the ground. But somehow, as she dragged the tree box inside, the feeling seemed to lurk like a shadow, no matter how hard she tried to forget it.
Dad, said Beverly, how will Santa bring our presents if we don't have a chimney?
It was later after dinner, and the whole Larkin family was together, decorating the living room. Maryellen remembered worrying about the no chimney problem when she was little. Tom and Mikey looked at Dad anxiously. Don't worry, said Mr. Larkin. Santa knows that houses here in Florida don't need fireplaces or chimneys because it's never very cold. So he comes in the back door and reads the Christmas wish letters you leave for him next to your stockings on the bookshelf. And his reindeer graze on the lawn and have a snack while Santa puts your presents under the tree. In fact, said Mrs. Larkin, I bet Santa likes Florida best of all because he can land his sleigh on the ground. When I was a kid back in the mountains in Georgia, I used to worry about him landing his sleigh on our rooftop. It was awfully slippery with all that ice and snow on it. Is there always snow at Christmas time up in the mountains? Asked Maryellen. Just about always, said Mrs. Larkin. We usually had a white Christmas when I was a kid. Oh, said Maryellen enviously, how wonderful! Mom smiled. Our Christmases were pretty quiet and simple back then, she said. It was during the Depression and no one had any money. Dad spoke up. Your mother and I are happy to be able to buy gifts for you kids, to go all out at Christmas and try our best to make all your wishes come true, he said. Since we had to scrimp when we were growing up. But you know your grandmom and grandpop, said Mrs. Larkin. They could make fun out of an old brown bag if they had to. We'd hike up the mountain and choose a tree, and Grandpop would chop it down. I was always a little sorry that we didn't leave the tree outside so that the branches could still be covered with snow. To me, the snow was the prettiest decoration of all, so white and glittery, but I did love how the tree made the whole house smell piney inside, and Grandpop always lifted me onto his shoulders to put the star at the very top of the tree. I loved that too.
This year it's my turn,
crowed Beverly happily. She spun on her toes.
Grandpop is going to lift me up, and I will put the star at the top of our tree.
Maryellen wanted to ask Mom more questions about what Christmas was like when she was a little girl, but just then the phone rang. Mom hurried to the kitchen to answer it. When she returned, she and Dad exchanged a worried look. "What's the matter?" Maryellen asked. Mom's voice was sad. "That was Grandpa on the phone," she said. "And," Beverly interrupted,
"Did you remind him that it's me he'll be lifting?"
"Oh, Beverly, honey," said Mom, I'm afraid he won't."
"How come?"
asked Beverly. "Why not?" asked Maryellen at exactly the same moment. Mom sighed. "You know that Grandpa was sick this fall." "But he's fine now," said Maryellen. "I've been sending him homemade get well cards every week, and when he writes back to thank me for them, he always says he's feeling better." "I know, dear," said Mom, "but just now on the phone, he said that he wasn't quite up to the train trip here, or all the holiday hoopla. He and Grandmom think it'll be best if they stay home in Georgia and have a quiet Christmas. They won't be coming to visit us."
"Oh no!"
wailed all the children except Mikey, who looked confused. Maryellen was so crushed that she thought she couldn't stand it. "Poor Grandmom and Grandpa," said Dad sadly. "Their Christmas will be awfully quiet. They'll be all by themselves. It'll hardly feel like Christmas at all." "Our Christmas will hardly feel like Christmas either without Grandmom and Grandpa here," said Maryellen, her voice choked with sorrow. "Yes," said Carolyn. "Who will make Grandmom's Christmas coffee cake? And who will sing Christmas songs all day long like Grandpa always does?"
"Who will lift me up to put the star on the top of the tree if Grandpa isn't here?"
moped Beverly. "Hey," said Dad. "What's all this grousing? You girls can help your mother make the coffee cake and listen to this." Dad picked up the jingle bells and shook them as he sang at the top of his voice, jingle bells, jingle all the way." Pretty soon, Dad had everyone singing along. When the song ended, Dad said, "And don't worry, Queen Beverly, I'll lift you up. You won't miss out on your starring role." Maryellen laughed at Dad's pun, along with everyone else. But she couldn't shake off her deep disappointment about Grandmom and Grandpa, just as she couldn't shake off her disappointment about the fake wire and plastic tree. Now that it was upright and its branches were outspread, and it was decorated with ornaments, the tree seemed even pinker and faker than she'd remembered. It had no piney scent, no feathery green needles, no solid wood trunk. It was so very different from the fragrant live tree Mama described. A sigh escaped Maryellen. "You really had the right kind of Christmas when you were a kid, Mom." "What do you mean by the right kind?" asked Dad. "What's wrong with our Christmas? Don't you like it?" "Oh, sure I do," said Maryellen quickly. "With 8 people in her house, there were always lots of presents piled under the tree. There were even presents for Scooter." Maryellen and all of her sisters and brothers banded together and made presents for their parents. One year, it was kites. Last year, it was a gingerbread man that looked like themselves and gingerbread dog to be Scooter. This year, it was going to be a poster of their handprints and Scooter's paw prints forming a big heart. Their family did fun stuff too. On Christmas Eve afternoon, Dad and all the kids dashed off to O'Neill's department store for last-minute shopping and then had ice cream afterward. When it was dark, the whole family went to the beach. When it was dark, the whole family went to the beach. Joanne's boyfriend Jerry came too and helped Dad build a bonfire. They sang carols and Dad read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" aloud. On Christmas morning, they went to a sunrise church service on the pier. Then, for breakfast, they had Grandmom's coffee cake accompanied by juicy Florida oranges. Maryellen's family had lots of great traditions, and Maryellen remembered every single one and treasured them all. And yet, it's just that in songs and stories and TV shows, Christmas is always cold and snowy, she explained. Ah, said Dad, you mean Christmas should look old-fashioned and traditional. Yes, said Maryellen, I guess I do. Well, Ellie, said Mom, America is a big country. The cold, snowy Christmas isn't possible for lots of people, not only us. But I know what Ellie is getting at, said Joanne. Now that Joanne was 18 and practically engaged, everyone listened to her as if she were a grown-up. Here in Florida, we put our own twist on Christmas. We spray pretend snow out of a can onto the windows. We put red bows on palm trees. Our presents are snorkels and beach balls, not sleds and skis. We sing about snow. We recite poems about snow. We tell stories about snow, but we don't have a flake of snow all winter. I think what Ellie is saying is that our Christmas isn't quite right. It isn't like Christmas in any of the books that we read. Our Christmas isn't, well, Christmassy. There's no right way to celebrate Christmas, said Dad. We celebrate our way, and our way is nice. Nice but different, thought Maryellen stubbornly. One thing Maryellen did not like about growing up was that she saw everything with new eyes. She felt awkward, as if she was standing outside her family looking in. But she couldn't help it. She knew what Christmas was supposed to look like, and this year, for the first time, she realized that her family's Christmas did not look right. Just once, she said wistfully, I wish that I could have a real Christmas, a perfect Christmas, a Christmas that's snowy the way it's supposed to be. The next afternoon after school, Maryellen was sitting on the floor in the living room with Beverly on one side, Tom on the other, and Mikey in her lap. Scooter, who was always glad to do anything that did not include moving, snoozed at her feet. Maryellen had promised to help the little kids by writing their Christmas wish letters to Santa for them, and they were looking at the Sears Roebuck catalog to get ideas. When they saw something they liked, Maryellen marked it with a star and turned down the corner of the page. So far, she had starred a toy fireman's hat for Tom, and for Beverly, a fairy queen costume with wings and sparkly wand. What do you want, Mikey? Maryellen asked.
Tick-tock,
said Mikey. That was his word for Mr. Larkin's wristwatch, which fascinated him for some reason.
No,
said Beverly, brisk and superior.
You're too little for a wristwatch. You can't tell time, like Ellie and I can.
Mikey's face fell. Even though Beverly was quite right, Maryellen felt sorry for Mikey. Quickly, she got scissors and tape. She flipped to the page of men's watches. It was easy to find. She'd already turned down its corner because next to the watches, there were engagement rings that she thought Joanne might like to see. Maryellen cut a man's watch out of the catalog and taped it around Mikey's wrist. There, she said.
Tick-tock,
said Mikey, perfectly pleased with his paper watch. He held it up to show Beverly, saying,
tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Okay,
said Beverly. She rolled her eyes to make it clear that she was far too smart and grown up to fall for a paper watch cut out of a catalog. For heaven's sake. Now, Mikey, said Maryellen kindly, you'll have to think of something else you'd like.
Cookie,
said Mikey. Scooter lifted his head at the sound of one of his favorite words, and Tom and Maryellen laughed. Mikey thought he'd said something clever and funny, so he said it again.
Cookie!
Beverly sighed with exasperation.
You can't ask Santa for a cookie.
She opened the catalog to a page that had stuffed animals on it and said,
You have to ask for a toy, like a stuffed animal or something. You know, like your teddy bears.
said Mikey joyfully.
Teddy bear.
You already have a teddy bear, Maryellen pointed out gently.
Bear,
said Mikey, looking fierce.
bear.
Okay, said Maryellen. For a guy with a limited vocabulary, Mikey sure was good at making his desires clear. She put a star next to the teddy bear that looked exactly like the one Mikey already had, except a lot cleaner, and folded the corner of the page. Have you chosen what you'd like, Ellie? asked Mom. She and Carolyn were hanging Christmas cards on a string over the doorway. Oh, yes, said Maryellen. I've known for a long time. May I see? asked Mom. Sure, said Maryellen. She turned to the page that she had folded back and pointed to a starred picture of a white leather jewelry box. The box was open so that you could see that it was lined in white velvet dusted with silver snowflakes. A little skater wearing a short red skating skirt, scarf, and stocking cap stood on one toe on a pond made of a round mirror. When you lift the lid, music plays and the little skater twirls around as if she's skating on the mirror, Maryellen explained. I love her because she's so pretty and Christmassy. I saw a jewelry box like that in O'Neill's, said Carolyn. The music is the skater's waltz, and the little skater looks sort of like a ballerina.
I'm a ballerina, exclaimed Beverly. Everybody look at me.
Beverly leapt to her feet and twirled on tiptoe with her arms raised above her head. Everyone clapped, but without much enthusiasm. Beverly took ballet lessons, and they were all pretty tired of being commanded to watch her dance. Maryellen wasn't really paying any attention to Beverly at all. Instead, she was staring hard at the photo of the jewelry box skater. She could almost feel herself gliding gracefully on a frozen pond, surrounded by glistening, sparkling snow under a wintry sky in sharp, cold, wintry air. Maryellen felt Mom's hand on her shoulder. That little skater is very pretty and Christmassy, Mom said dreamily, as she looked at the photograph too. I used to ice skate on a frozen pond like that with Grandmom and Grandpop when I was your age. The faraway, sad tone in Mom's voice reminded Maryellen that Mom was as heartbroken as she was that Grandmom and Grandpop weren't coming for Christmas. Then Mom tousled Maryellen's hair and joked, It's too bad we don't have an ice skating rink here in Daytona Beach. Now, if that little jewelry box skater were water skiing, we'd be all set. That we can do on a Florida Christmas. Okay, so that is the end of chapter 10. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of the chapter in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel if you guys are new for lots more of Maryellen's audiobook. Thanks for watching. See you soon.